This is probably the craziest ER visit that I'm going to be hearing about in a really long time, and it may apply the same for you. Today, we need to talk about the legendary singer by the name of Alexander Morris, who is part of a legendary Motown singing group known as Four Tops, who was admitted to a hospital for cardiac distress, only for doctors and security guards to not believe that he himself is Alexander Morris from Four Tops. And as a result of that, he was not provided the medical attention that he came in originally for, and he is now suing them for racial discrimination. We have a whole article here to break that down, so let's get right into it. So the article starts off by saying the lead singer of Motown's legendary Four Tops have sued the Michigan hospital, claiming racial discrimination after staff members assumed he was delusional when he said he was in the group and placed him in a restraining jacket. Alexander Morris, 53, who is black and joined the iconic vocal quartet in 2018, went to Ascension Macomb Oakland Hospital in Warren on April 7th of 2023, so this was just like a year ago, with clear symptoms of cardiac distress. He had difficulty breathing and chest pain, and he was placed on oxygen, said the federal lawsuit filed Monday in Eastern District of Michigan. So you heard it here. Basically what happened was he was going through cardiac distress. There was something wrong with his heart, or the way his heart was functioning, and of like anybody would do this, they would go to a hospital. And when he went to the hospital, he was telling people like, hey, I'm a celebrity, just a heads up, I might have fans around here, I might have people that might stalk me because, hey, I am a celebrity. That's just the life of a celebrity. It's unfortunate, but that's reality. Just keep a lookout for me. And doctors and security guards heard that, and they were like, yeah, I don't know. That sounds like bullshit. And it's crazy. It's crazy to even just go to the extreme and just bring in a restraining jacket after he just said he's just a celebrity. That's all he said. Hey, I'm a celebrity. I might need a little bit of like a security. Just keep a lookout. Just watch my back. Nah. Bring in the restraining jacket. We got another loony over here. It's just absolutely wild. Mind you, this man came in with chest pain. He came in with chest pain and other symptoms that you would indicate is a cardiac distress or cardiac arrest or something. There's just something generally wrong with your heart. But instead, the moment he came in for his heart and he said he was a celebrity, their focus shifted from the fact that his heart wasn't working properly to, yeah, I don't think he's 100% up here. Bring in the special doctor here. Bring the special doctor. We need to put him in for a psychological evaluation, if you will. However, when he informed the nurse and security guard in the emergency room that he was a member of the Four Tops and had security concerns because of stalkers and fans, they didn't believe him, the suit says. Instead, a doctor ordered a psychological evaluation and he was restrained for at least an hour and a half, it says. The suit accuses the hospital and two staffers, a nurse and a security guard, of negligence, racial discrimination, battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress. It was terrifying experience to be in the middle of a medical emergency, to be placed into restraints, to have my oxygen turned off, and my personal effects taken from me, and no help from the doctors and nurses because of the color of my skin. Racial profiling nearly cost me my life, Morris said in a statement his attorneys released Tuesday. Morris had a significant known history of cardiac disease, including the placement of stents and defibrillator, the suit says. The article continues on to say during his hospitalization, he was ultimately diagnosed with heart infarction that may require a heart transplant, pneumonia, and he suffered 3 seizures during his stay, which is completely crazy. That is absolutely wild that you see a man going through all of this during his hospitalization and you're diagnosing him with these things and you still thought, yeah, the delusion right now is the biggest elephant in the room here. Not his heart, not the pneumonia, not the seizures. It's his delusion. However, his treatment was delayed because hospital staffers didn't believe he was part of the famed Four Tops group. After checking in, a nurse, a white security guard, and a white male emergency room doctor, quote-unquote, racially profiled him and, quote-unquote, wrongfully assumed he was mentally ill when he revealed his identity as a celebrity figure, the complaint says. He was told he'd get a psychological evaluation, quote unquote, because they did not believe he was a singer or member of the Four Tops. Hospital staff members decided to remove Morris from the oxygen and pursued a psychiatric evaluation instead of considering his symptoms and significant medical history, the filing says. So that part really throws me off. You have someone that comes to, the emergency room. They get admitted, and now they're parked right into the emergency room. You get them all the medical equipment ready. You ask questions and whatnot. They probably have their medical history pulled up along with their identification, of course, because your name is with your medical records, of course. And they see the name and the medical history, and I don't know how you can't put two and two together and say, wait, is he really a celebrity? Hang on. Oh my god. Yeah, he's a celebrity. He wasn't bullshitting. That is the Alexander Morris from the Motown's Four Tops. I don't get it. There's a lot of misses here, but we're just playing it like by ear. We're just like, I don't really think he's all that. I don't think he is who he says he is. Now, let me just play a little bit of a devil's advocate here. I understand that this is a hospital, right? There's not many times you have a celebrity come into a hospital. Celebrities don't come into hospitals every day. For every celebrity that comes in, you probably have hundreds or even thousands of people who are mentally ill or in mental distress that come into an emergency room. So I can understand the confusion there, and I can understand why there may be a mix-up. But even then, I have to dismiss that only because a simple Google research would tell you that, hey, this guy is who he says he is. I just looked at a photo, I just did a Google search, and he looks like him. It might be him. But no, doctors just heard that, I'm a celebrity and I might have fans and stalkers around, and they're looking at that like, yeah, more like ghosts stalking you. Yeah, sure. I had another patient earlier that said he was part of the Temptations. Whatever. It's so negligent, and it's ignorant at best. Like, hey, just do a little bit of research. I don't think taking a minute of your time to look up if this guy's Alexander Morris is going to hurt you or get in your way in any way, shape, or form. Maybe that's just me. I mean, I'm not a medical professional. I never worked at a hospital before, so I don't know how that works. But it doesn't look good regardless, even from the outside looking in. So the article continues on to say that the suit says the security guard was instructed to ensure Morris was placed in a restraining jacket and that his belongings were removed. Morris asked whether he could prove his identity by showing his identification card, and the white male security guard ordered him to sit his black ass down, the complaint says. Despite the comment, none of the nursing staffers intervened to stop the racial discrimination. Man, listen, y'all, I don't know, it's not looking good for the hospital. It's not looking good. It's one thing to just say like, hey, I feel as if I was discriminated against racially because I came in, I told you I was a celebrity, you guys didn't believe me, you guys didn't do your research, even if there was benefit of the doubt, and you still did not provide me the medical attention that I originally came in for. No, you emphasized on the possibility that there was racial discrimination when a security guard told you, sit your black ass down, and you even had doctors and nurses on the side that didn't even intervene. If this was any other workplace, you would have been fired for that. You can't just say something like that. Sure, you can say, hey, sit your ass down, and just keep it moving, but he didn't say that. He went out of his way to bring, his race into that. And the fact that the nurses and the doctors didn't do anything about it, they didn't pull the security officer to the side and say, hey, that was fucked up. We need to talk about that because that was unnecessary. Sure, you could have told him to, like, hey, sit down. Sure, like, you could be stern about it, but you didn't have to go out of your way to say sit his black ass down. Like, that's wild. Again, if it was any other job, we would have been fired for that. So it's pretty. I can understand why Alexander Morris would say something like that. Like, yeah, there was definitely some racial discrimination involved because a security guard himself literally just said to sit my black ass down, and none of the staffers did anything about it. They didn't correct him. They didn't pull him to the side. He didn't come to me and apologize for what he said. He didn't do. None of that took place. So I can understand why Alexander Morris could have felt some type of way about that. The suit says Morris was ignored when he told staff members he was struggling to breathe and requested the oxygen back. It also alleges he was ignored when he asked for the restraint device to be removed and to get his belongings back so he could seek treatment at another hospital. He was told he was not free to leave, thus he was falsely imprisoned and deprived of his personal property. During this time, his medical condition continuously declined and he was denied medical treatment he desperately needed, the suit says. Now, I just want to point this out real quick. It sucks that Alexander Morris was not only just a victim of, alleged racial discrimination here, but also he was falsely imprisoned for the fact that he may be, mentally unstable. He may not be 100% up here. Because it is a reality when you have people that are going through like mental distress or they're going through like a mental episode, and when they're admitted to a hospital, they're not allowed to leave. Even if a person recovers from an episode and they say, hey, listen, I'm fine, I'm okay, I'm not violent, I'm not trying to hurt anybody, I'm not trying to hurt myself, I just want to go home, I just want to be with my family, I just want to be in my space. A hospital, and this might be a state-by-state thing, I could be wrong, it might be all over the United States, but if someone is under mental distress and they're admitted to a hospital for something like that, they're not allowed to leave. You don't really have a will to say, hey, I'm mentally okay, I'm gonna just get up and leave. You can't do that. And Alexander Morris just experienced that because they felt that he was delusional and that he wasn't 100% up here. So that's why he had the straitjacket and he had the restraints on. Mainly because this is the reality of some people that, go through mental episodes. They're put in restraints, even though they may not be exhibiting any sort of violent intent. Maybe the doctors might be on edge when it comes to people who are mentally ill. And that sucks. And there's a stigma that goes along with that. And it sucks that Alexander Morris was at the receiving end of that. There's many times I've heard stories of people who, want to leave the hospitals. And they don't have that option because the doctors themselves say, well, you're not mentally fit to be back in a public society, so until we say you leave, you can leave. And to top it all off, it's not even just the fact that he's being falsely imprisoned, he's going through cardiac distress. He has heart conditions. He has history of his heart not acting properly or not functioning properly. And despite these things, these cues, the doctors really sat there and said, no, his delusion, his mental stability is right now the top priority. It's not his heart, it's his mental psyche. And it's just absolutely crazy. I don't know who was in charge of that. I don't even know how many people heard this and didn't think, yeah, there's something wrong with that. Wait, you said he's delusional, yet he's going through like a heart problem? And this is where things get crazy. So when Morris's wife went to the nursing station to collect his belongings and saw what was happening, according to the filing, she informed one of the security officers that he actually was a member of the Four Tops, the complaint says. A nurse went to Morris's side and he asked to show the nurse a video of him performing at the Grammys. I don't know why they had to be so specific with that. Like, if he's a celebrity, he's a celebrity. I don't even think you have to look up a video of him performing at the Grammys. You could just look up like a photo, and that would be enough to confirm his identity. Or you could just search up his name and his face would show up regardless, but you know, we didn't take that step. But anyways, it was then that the nurse realized he was actually a member of the Four Tops and informed the emergency room doctor, according to the filing. When the doctor returned, he said he was canceling the psychological evaluation, it says. The restraint jacket was finally removed and Morris was placed back on oxygen after being restrained for approximately an hour and a half, or 90 minutes, the complaint says. I think it's absolutely foul that you needed to have somebody's wife step into the hospital scene and say, yeah, that is Alexander Morris. And you have a security guard that's like, yeah, you sure about that? You sure you're not in on this prank? No, it's actually him. This is who he is. And they're saying like, oh, shoot. Oh, wait, it might be him. Hang on, let's just make sure. Let's double check and make sure. Mr. Morris, can you confirm that you performed at the Grammys? Can you show us a video of yourself performing at the Grammys? I'm not understanding that at all. It's like this hospital is really not giving this man any breathing room. Like, it didn't have to be so specific. Just look him up. That's just it. Just look him up. Just match the face that's on the phone or the computer or whatever with what you have here now, and that alone would be enough to be like, yo, this is the Alexander Morris. Yo, just drop everything. Give what this man needs. If he says jump, you ask how high. That's it. Like, I don't understand that. Macomb Oakland Hospital in Michigan played the absolute fucking dummy. It is inexcusable that you're still, despite the fact that the wife is saying, yes, that is the celebrity, you have his medical records. Everything there shows is accurate. He has a heart issue and he has a history of having heart issues. And we're sitting there like, nah, I don't think he's a celebrity. That sounds like bullshit. We get a lot of people coming in here claiming that they're celebrities. I doubt he's one of them. We just had one dude coming in talking about how he's part of like the Earth, Wind, and Fire. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And this is the part that is like the icing on the cake in this entire situation, this entire visit here. Morris was offered a $25 gift card to Major as an apology, which he refused, it says. The ordeal delayed Morris's treatment despite his severe condition and caused him, quote-unquote, severe mental and psychological suffering, the suit says. The suit alleges racial discrimination, violation of civil rights, negligence, gross negligence, battery, false imprisonment, and an intentional infliction of emotional distress and violation of the Americans with Disabilities Act. Talk about a fucking whopper of charges. You got the bun, the patty, then the cheese, and the lettuce, and the onions, and the pickles, and the ketchup, and the mayo, and the bun on top. So what we have here, not only that is the charges that are crazy here, is the fact that they gave him a $25 gift card to a market, a hypermarket chain, whatever you call it. I've never heard of Major or Major, whatever you want to call it, but they are, I think, like a supermarket. And he's a celebrity getting $25. Like, imagine me giving you $25. I put you in a restraining jacket. You're a celebrity. I didn't believe you was a celebrity. And I put you in a restraining jacket, and I ignored all of your medical needs that you came into the hospital originally for. And, you know, I remove your jacket, your restrained cuffs or whatever, and I say, okay, you're discharged, such Mr. or Mrs. such and such. I do apologize, you know, for, you know, the miscommunication or the lack of understanding here. I have a $25 gift card to Major. Everything's cool? We cool? This one? It's just absolute bullshit. And I'm really happy that he denied that card, because that is so bullshit that you could just ignore everything that happened in the past hour and a half with a $25 gift card. I swear to God, like, hospitals are so scummy. The article then concludes to say, I see all these posts on social media like driving while black, walking while black, but I never imagined I would become a victim of being sick while black, Morris said in his statement. I filed a lawsuit to hold the hospital accountable for the way I was treated and to protect the younger generations from racism in healthcare. An Ascension Hospital spokesperson said Tuesday, we do not condone racial discrimination of any kind. We will not comment on pending litigations. The health, safety, and well-being of our patients and associates and community members remains our top priority. We remain committed to honoring human dignity and acting with integrity and compassion for all persons and the community, the spokesperson added. You know what else needs to be a top priority? Common sense. Again, just a simple search on Google would have just avoided this entire situation. Common sense, could have just avoided going straight to the extreme and just bringing in a straight jacket or other restraints for someone who poses no threat to themselves or to anybody within their vicinity. I just personally feel that a lot of this could have been avoided. Just simple things, just 1 minute, just 1 or 2 minutes of just, hey, let's take a step back. Maybe this guy says who he says he is. Let's do a little bit of our research. Or you don't even have to go to Google. Hey, let's check his medical records real quick and see if everything lines up here. They don't even have to confirm it. They could just say, hey, it doesn't matter that this person is a celebrity or not. All right, you're a celebrity. Good for you. All right, here, we're going to give you medication and we're going to give you the equipment that you need for your heart. You're going to stay here for a couple days. We're going to make sure you're 100%. Okay, Mr. Morris? Okay. And kept it moving. Him being a celebrity doesn't mean that he's entitled to special treatment. The moment you step into a hospital, or at least what I would imagine, the moment you step into a hospital, it doesn't matter who you are. I think that's it. I think that's really all we ever want. I don't think we want anything else. I mean, special treatment would be nice, but at the end of the day, I feel doctors have an oath that they've taken. And they're supposed to help people in need like Alexander Morris, and the the nurses that were involved in that situation didn't follow that oath at all. And I feel as if the security guard was kind of fucked up for the fact that, he said something like that, like, hey, sit your black ass down. I think it's also disgusting. And the fact that the nurses stood by and didn't do anything implies that they were complicit with that. It's kind of sickening to see that. To be in Alexander's shoes in a situation like that, I can only imagine is heartbreaking, and it only makes you feel hopeless. And I can only imagine what going through that for an hour and a half even feels like. But anyways, guys, that's really all I have. I'm gonna stop before I continuously ramble on. This whole situation is fucked up, and hopefully, Alexander Morris gets the help that he needs, because I'm pretty sure his whole condition with his heart isn't over yet. And hopefully he gets the justice that he deserves, especially with this whole situation going on. Again, these are just allegations, but from what I'm reading here, it's not looking good for the hospital. And until then, that's about it, y'all. Peace.